Good morning. Welcome to Come Out of Babylon Lessons. It's Grace talking to you. Today, as we said last time, we are going to talk about the Babylonian Empire. We are still studying what is Babylon, and this is the third episode. So you're welcome. So, just a brief history about the Babylonian Empire. As you have probably read about this empire, it has a long history. Today, we are not going to talk, sorry, about the falls and rise of Babylonian king. We are going to focus on the spiritual aspect and why this empire was mentioned so many times in the book of Isaiah, Jeremiah, and what is implication like the spiritual one. In the Bible, they don't talk much about the kings of Babylon, except Nebuchadnezzar and his descendant Belshazzar. Babylonian Empire uh, existed around 605 BC to 539 BC in the Middle East, today in Iraq, near the Euphrates River. It was the first superpower in the known world. It conquered many kingdoms at its time, include the kingdom of Israel. They sinned against God, and the Lord punished them by making them conquered by Babylon, as we can read in Daniel chapter 5 from 17 to 79. Sorry, Daniel chapter 5 from 17 to 79, we read that God gave to Babylon the power to conquer all nation, many nation. Among the slaves that came from Israel, there were Daniel and his friend. But this kingdom was cruel to Israel, as we can read it in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 7. But the Lord, through the prophet Jeremiah, promised that after 17 years, the temple will be rebuilt. The empire of Babylon will be destroyed. So this was a hope that God was giving to Israelites. So in Daniel chapter 4, verse 28 to 36, we read about Nebuchadnezzar's punishment from his pride and how he recovered and blessed the Lord Most High. This history was known by his son Belshazzar. But in Daniel chapter 5, we read about what causes the falls of Babylon. The king made a feast, invite, uh, invited princess from all over Babylon Empire. They drank wine. After drinking the wine, the king decided to mock God of Israel by using the vessels of the temple of Jerusalem for drinking wine, and they worshipped silver, gold, bronze, wood, stone, iron. These were material used to build Babylon's huge wall and to make army weapon. He knew that it was God who gave them dominion, but he decided to mock openly the Lord. So let's talk about another evil spirit that we see in this history of the Babylonian Empire. And we also see this evil spirit in the Babylonian movement. So let's read these two verses. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 17. Israelites is like scattered sheep. The lion have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria devoured him. Now, at last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has broken his bones. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 7. All who found them have devoured them. And their adversary said, we have not offended, because we have sinned against the Lord. They have sinned against the Lord of justice, the Lord, the hope of their fathers. The prince from this empire destroyed the bonds. Here, the bonds is imagery of the hope of Israel, as we can read in Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 11. And they justify themselves by saying it is not their fault. They are the one who rejected the Lord, Israelites, and the Lord their justice, the Lord the hope of their father. The evil spirit that we see from this history of Babylonian Empire, they worked to destroy everything God's people had. And the last thing they remained with, the Israelite people, was hope in God's promises. They used the vessels from the Temple of Jerusalem. These vessels were holy. By using them for drinking wine, they were making it dirty. You might think, where is the problem of making it dirty? The vessels symbolize later on, after the pouring of the Holy Spirit, God's people. So what we can foresee from this history is that Babylon, this human rebellion, will work to make God's people dirty as a sign of mocking God. So another new thing that we can learn from this empire of Babylon, because we are still learning what is Babylon. So what we can learn from this empire of Babylon, it is the rebellion and the pride came, I would say, after drinking the wine. So there's a problem of health here. There's like they drank the wine, their conscience, they it's like killing their conscience. There was also a problem like the mental health, their mental health. So there's a problem of health here, like destroying health, if you want me to say it like that. So another thing, and another new thing that we saw here, it is that they drank the wine, they became rebellious, and another thing it is they took the vessels from the temple of the Lord to make it dirty. Those vessels was holy, they were only used for sacrificial purpose, but here we see them using them for drinking wine, so they're making it dirty. And these are the two, I would say, the two new things that we see from this history of the Babylonian Empire. And another thing that we see also, I don't want to forget it, it is the downness. They reach to the point where they start worshiping material, gold, bronze, stone, iron. They start worshiping material that they use to build like their huge wall, the city, the weaponry of the army, everything. So they start worshiping those material. This show another downness of the spirit. So talking about their judgment, the Lord sent a message that their reign was reached to the end and there was no hope for them. Why? Because they were found weightless. For a kingdom or an empire to have weight, it should have justice, mercy, and faithfulness. The Lord put this empire of Babylon on a weighting scale, and it was found weightless. Then he punished them by dividing the kingdom and by giving it to the Medes and to the Persians. So, for today's lesson, the summary, we have learned about the brief history of the Empire of Babylon, and we have focused on the spiritual implication, like the attack and the torment that were doing on God's people. We have also learned about destruction of health, how it leads to rebellion and downness of spirit. And we have also learned about the judgments God gave to the Babylon Empire. Thank you for following up to the end again. For the next episode, we will talk about the devil worshipping all over the world. Don't miss it. May the Lord bless you.